you have some symbolic moments, some moment that you go back in time and look at and be like, okay, these are the defining moments in your history or whatever you're trying to achieve. This summer will be a defining moment, a moment in history that we arc our mind back to and say, okay, this is the moment where we see a symbolic change, right, in what Arsenal are trying to achieve moving forward. The last 10, 15 years, sorry, before I go forward, good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of 18 Yard Box. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Let's get into it. In this particular moment, we have an opportunity to create history. We have an opportunity to move forward as a team and to move forward into greatness. The last 10, 20 years has been marred by mediocrity, right? So many lows, very few highs. Very few highs that the new generation of Arsenal fans have barely experienced victories, beauty, joy. We went from a team that wins trophies every other year, or with at least 2 years maximum, we win something, right? To a team that didn't win trophy for like 9 years. We went between 2004 to 2009, 9 years, 13. We won nothing. We're always in all these competitions. We don't strengthen our squad in the right positions. We always leave loopholes in the squad. Is either we're good in attack, we're poor in defense. Our defense was terrible for those years. For some reason, we just didn't buy competent defenders. We go for the cheapest possible defenders. We don't have defensive midfielders. We went from Vieira to small, diminutive midfielders. We just couldn't get it over the line. You can arc your mind back to terrible moments in our history, from moving from the hybrid to Emirates. I don't know if it's a positive or a negative. It's a positive in the sense that we become a bigger club, bigger fans, our fan base reached worldwide. But also, our style of football before they helped us reach those highs, right? We went away from that to buying very small players. Wenger was just obsessed with gathering as many creative players as he can without having good defenders to get it over the line, or we just were always shot somewhere. It was a very painful period. I can think about losing against Chelsea in the Carling Cup final after Walcott scored. The chaos after the match was just people fighting and everything, to the Carling Cup final between Arsenal and Birmingham City. Obafemi Martins scoring off a ricochet from Chesney. Was it Chesney or Fabianski and Laurent Koscielny? You can think of so many moments. Losing 4-1 to Chelsea in Baku in the Europa League final under Unai Emery, failing to make Champions League when we're 100% certain to make it. There's so many moments, to 8-2 against Manchester United. That was absolutely embarrassing, right? We're not ready for the season. We didn't buy the right players. Then we went on the end of the season, at the end of the transfer window, we went in to buy like 4 players. It was absolutely insane. But present state, what does our current state tell us? What it tells us is that we've moved away and we've decided to actually invest in the squad. And not just looking at this season, we've decided to invest heavily in recruitment and cultural change for the last 3 seasons, right? We've been signing young, relatively experienced, highly talented and adaptable footballers the last 3 years. Aaron Ramsdale, nobody wanted him. I didn't want Aaron Ramsdale. I'm sure you that are watching, you didn't want him. We signed him for like 25, 30 million pounds, and nobody wanted him. It's been incredible. He's been one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Benjamin White, 50 million pounds signing from Brighton. Well, buys a centre back from Brighton for 50 million. He's been a relative success. He had an outstanding 2022-2023 season at right back. This is a player we bought predominantly to play centre back. He adapted to the new role. He's played a couple of times. It was incredible. He wasn't best right back in the league last season. Martinelli's, you can mention Martin Odegaard. Most of these have been very, very successful signings. But current state, what does the signing of Declan Rice from Man City, for example, symbolize? What it symbolizes is that we're ready to go toe to toe with this team. We're ready to pay the high wages to get the best talent out there to come and play for us at the Emirates Stadium. Are we just ready to compete? It sends a signal into your head. It changes people's opinion, people's perspective about how they feel about Arsenal. It stops like from saying, "Oh, Arsenal, they're not going to buy that player. They're not going to." It changes the entire perspective of people about you. What do we know about Yuri Timber? Young, he's 22 years old. So he's been one of the best players in Eredivisie the last few years. Is experienced. He's been playing for a while, right? It's versatile. He can play right wing back, right back, centre back, defensive midfielder. What do we know about Harvetz? Young, relatively experienced. He scored in the Champions League final. How many people can say they've scored in the Champions League final? And he's a player in the mode of what Arsenal used to do of the past, where they buy young, incredibly talented players who failed at previous clubs. I'll give you an example. We broke the British record transfer for Dennis Bergkamp in 1997, 1998 for about £7.5 million. You know, like the rest is history. He's been one of the best players in Premier League history. He was a player that was so misused, and we took a punt and be like, okay, this guy, we can revive this guy, and it was incredible for us. We did the same thing with Thierry Henry. It was not as a split star. He just wants to run on the wing, running. Yeah. What did Arsene Wenger did? He changed the player. He had a vision of how he wanted to use this player. This is something that is quite synonymous with what we used to do. We did the same thing with Alexis Sanchez. The player was a good player. He became a great player when he joined us. Right? We've been doing this throughout the entirety of our history. We're just going back and remodeling it. So Arteta is copying, not copying per se. Who knows who the original person is? He's taking a leaf out of the books of the greatest managers out there and is trying to win. We need to embrace winning. Our long-term planning needs to come into fruition now. We need to win. We've built a team that is ready to win. We've reinforced defensively, which is what we wanted to do after we failed last season from the injuries to Saliba and Tomiyasu. We know Tomiyasu is not reliable. He always gets injured one way or the other. Like, it is what it is. We know Zinchenko is not reliable. Those two players are going to miss 2 to 3 months every season, constant. So you need to have reinforcement for them. If Zinchenko is out, Tomiyasu plays left back. If we're deciding to keep Tierney, yeah, that's fine. Let's keep Tierney. It's all good for the squad. I know Tierney doesn't fit stylistically into what we're trying to do. Tomiyasu can play that inverted role, not to the extent Zinchenko will, but he's better on the ball and is more suited to that role than Tierney. So we have Yuri Timber now. The season starts, Timber sit on the bench, Tomiyasu sit on the bench, right? We have 2 excellent fullbacks option on the bench, right? What do we need? We have Kiri on the bench, £20 million signing, one of the best young centre back to come out of Syria in recent years. That is team building. That is a team that is being built to be able to challenge, to be able to win, right? So it's all in the plan. But now we are out of this mediocrity. Now it's time to win. Now it's time to win. The Arsenal team, the Arsenal club, the Arsenal fans need to embrace the pressure, break the pressure, live through the pressure. It's always difficult to win something that you haven't won in a long time. There's a reason we falter last season. We just didn't falter because Saliba and Tomiyasu were injured. Yeah, those were huge contributing factors. We faltered also. Why? Because the team didn't believe enough. because you haven't done it. And if you haven't done it, you don't know if you can. You only need to do it once. Man City needed to win the Premier League once, scoring 2 goals in the dying embers of the game against QPR in 2012. They had a magnificent squad. They were losing against the bottom of the league team in the last game of the season that they just needed to win the league. That is absolutely ludicrous. But these things happen in football. We're here to stay. We're here to compete, embrace the pressure, and we're going to go for it until we win and win and win again. Thank you guys for having me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, share with your family and friends. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye. God bless.